So you think you have it rough because your mom and dad have house rules. June 23rd, 2012. Since I've had a number of new friends join me since my last visit to prison, here is a quick recap about one of my former grade 6 students, Stephanie Beckley. For those who have been worried about my previous stories, Stephanie is fully aware that I am writing these stories and has given me permission to use her name. In fact, Stephanie hopes that her story may prevent someone else from making the same mistakes that she made. Early in 2011, Steph, 25, got drunk, drove her Jeep, hit another vehicle, and Laura, 21, died in that other vehicle. At her pre-trial, Steph pleaded guilty to drunk driving causing death, so there was no trial. On February 2nd of this year, Steph was sent to prison for 3 years. She is now serving time at the Edmonton Institution for Women, EIFW, a prison which houses minimum, medium, and maximum security inmates. Steph's classification was medium security. Steph and I have been writing letters to each other weekly. Today was my second visit to Steph in prison. I go through all the security checks and am allowed to take in only $5 in coins for the vending machines. No pen, paper, wallet, gifts, cap, coat, as each of these has the potential to hide contraband. If I get caught taking in contraband, I am liable to a prison sentence of up to 10 years. Once I make my way through security, I go to the waiting room, and Beckley is called on the intercom. Even though I must make an appointment 24 hours ahead, Steph is not notified of my visit ahead of time. Being called to C&V could be for a visitor, but it could also be a spot check piss test for illegal drugs. While I'm waiting, an inmate is playing with her 4-week-old baby, waiting to generate enough pee for her surprise test. Steph enters the room, spots me, and a big smile crosses her face. She then goes through a security check before being allowed to give me a hug. We agreed to go out into the courtyard for our chat. Steph fills me in on all the courses she's been taking since our last visit, even though I'm aware of these through our letters. Since she will not have time to complete all the courses before August, some are compulsory, some optional, Steph and her advisor put back her potential parole board hearing to give her more time to prepare a solid portfolio. You see, if she is not granted parole, then she will not be allowed to reapply for another 12 months. So better to delay 2 or 3 months now and be well prepared than to fail and have to delay another 12 months. It's a tough decision, but I agree with Steph that her advisor's recommendation is a wise one. To me, the highlight of Steph's summary today is the amount of time she is spending with native healers. She is becoming a wise woman, and I can see so much growth, mentally, spiritually, psychologically, and physically. She is doing so many interesting things to become a better person, hopefully one who will make a positive contribution to society when she leaves prison. Her status as a result of all the self-improvements has officially changed from medium security to minimum. Don't get me wrong, it is tough here for Steph. She tells me that when one outside worker lost his service knife within the prison, EIFW immediately went into lockdown. No one was allowed out of their house, 10 inmates per house, and every room was searched. Yes, the knife was found. The inmates in that house are in extended lockdown. In another house, homemade tattoo apparatus was found. Those houses are in extended lockdown, and the inmates responsible are in SEG, individual lockdown in a small room 23 hours a day. As well, Steph tells me about an inmate who was harassed by her housemates. So to get even, when it was her turn to cook, she basted her turkey with her own piss. That inmate was found out, and she is now in SEG as well. Steph laments the fact that her ex will not bring their daughter into the prison for a visit. I remind her that everything that happens outside the fence is not in her control. All she can do is become such a good prisoner that she will qualify for early parole and then earn back some of the privileges that she took for granted when she was on the outside. We cover many other topics, and it is time for me to leave. We hug again, and Steph goes through another security check before heading back into the compound. After all, we hugged twice and could have passed contraband. I head out through security, claim my personal items, pass out through the chain link fence topped with razor wire, and back out to my truck. Since I was up at 4:15 this morning, I catch 40 winks in the truck, then head down 111th Avenue to the Glenrose Rehabilitation Hospital. I check in at the front desk, get Delphine's room number, and head up to the 3rd floor. The nurses want to know who I am and why do I want to see Delphine Guthrie. I enter her room and she is sound asleep. I guess she needed 40 winks as well. I set the grapes down on her table and quietly sit down so as not to wake her. She is in a very deep sleep. Good, that is a healing sleep. Soon Delphine gets more visitors. 8 members of her extended family come in. Jackie Chalifot and Donald Guthrie have been my students in school. The others are all younger. Delphine wakes up, takes in the big picture. Soon I encourage the kids to enjoy the grapes while we all have a chat with Delphine. Since it is nearing supper time, I suggest we have an outside picnic with Mom. It's settled, but there is a limitation. You see, Delphine is in lockdown as well. She hit a moose with her car and suffered many injuries and is confined to bed, except when the nurses can take her out for rehab exercises or any of the other necessities of life. She shows me the blisters on her hands as she is working so hard to get out and be home with her family. If all goes well, she'll be home around the 1st of August. The nurses give Delphine her pain pills, load her into the reclining wheelchair, and we motor down to the courtyard, complete with children's playground. The pizza and pop arrive, and we all enjoy an outdoor picnic, but I honestly believe that no one enjoyed it more than Delphine. So there you have it, folks. You think your life is tough. One mistake in judgment, and you could end up in prison, like Steph. Or one mishap, and you could be in severe pain and immobilized except for the assistance of others, like Delphine. I don't think it's necessary, but I will remind everyone again to count your blessings. If you are reasonably healthy and able to go to school or work for a living, then you are indeed one of the very fortunate people in this world. The next time you think you have a right to complain or whine about your life, remember this: there but for the grace of God go I. Now get up on your own power and start walking where no fences keep you in. Enjoy your family, enjoy your job, and enjoy your life. After many comments from my Facebook friends, I add the following comment. Gina, yes, I do sleep. Funny you asked that, because yesterday Julie asked if I was becoming a monk. Normally I sleep from 6 to 7 hours. Yesterday was exceptional. The birds awakened me with a task to perform, to record their songs for my Facebook page, in thanks to the people who prayed for Jill's daughter, Chantel. That's why I had a snooze in the parking lot at EIFW. After my visit with Delphine and her family, I drove down to Snow Valley for the wedding reception of my cousin's son, Matt, and his bride, Whitney. What a lovely couple, with strong family ties and a healthy love and respect for our Holy Father. I left the reception at 9:30 and arrived home just before midnight. Marg and I went in separate vehicles as we each had different chores lined up for the day. Normally, I would have gone right to sleep, but I had one last chore for the day. To make my visits more meaningful, I wanted to share them with my Facebook friends in the hopes that others will see that life is what you make of it, regardless of how tough your circumstances may be. Interestingly enough, I rarely know what I'm going to write when I start, but I feel that my thoughts are guided in such a way that the story will be meaningful and serve a higher purpose. This story took me about an hour and a half, but I sure had a good sleep when my work for the day was done.